Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John. Today I'm ranking the Dream Theater albums. I will be including the new one, A View from the Top of the World. Just 15 studio albums, not including like the EP or live albums or anything like that. So that's it. I'm just going to jump right into it. This way this video won't be too long. So coming in at the bottom is the Astonishing from 2016, and this is the one that's pretty much at the bottom of like everybody's ranking. I did watch some ranking videos where they did put it like maybe a few spots like above the bottom, you know, maybe at like 12 or 11. But it's a concept album, and it's just very long. That's a problem. 2 hours and 10 minutes, and has a lot of like short songs, like the 34 songs like total. So basically a lot of this album is just filler, but there are some okay songs like mixed in with this big album, like Our New World. This one has Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm. It's one of the last songs in the album, and this kind of have like a glam metal sound, has some metal guitars. And then there's The Gift of Music. That one's pretty good. It has like an 80s glam metal sound, but it's an okay song, but the album is just very long and just very overblown, so that's why I have it at last. Coming in at number 14 is When Dream and Day Unite. This one came out in 1989. This is their first album, and you know the band, they're just kind of like trying to like find themselves. So we had John Myung, Mike Portnoy, and John Petrucci. So they were guys. I believe they were in Berklee School of Music. So they were all like very talented musicians, and they put together a band. They called it Majesty at first, and they were inspired by Rush. So when I did listen to this album, I did hear a big Rush influence. Kind of sounds a lot like their like 90s period, maybe they're like early 90s when they were like a little heavier. And it's the only album without James LaBrie on vocals. It has Charlie Dominici on vocals and some pretty good songs. Has some long songs. The 5-part The Killing Hand, that one's under 9 minutes. The song Afterlife is pretty good. It has some guitar shredding, pretty fast drum beat, and that song is an example, kind of like how they took that progressive rock sound and like made it heavier. So it's kind of a good start to the band, but I do have it at the bottom because just they got a lot better afterwards. So coming in at number 13 is Dream Theater, the self-titled from 2013. This one's it's okay for me. It does have some good songs. The Enemy Inside, it's pretty good. It's a heavy song, almost like a thrashy intro riff. That's fast-paced, has all the instruments working together. That song's very proggy, has lots of tempo changes. Then there's The Looking Glass, another good song. Reminds me of the stuff from like the early 90s. Kind of has more of like a commercial feel, but still has some pretty cool crunchy riffs. And another song I like is The Bigger Picture. This one has a very like epic prog metal feel. Has like all the instruments coming together, creating this wall of sound. And the song has some slow parts, has some piano parts, has some heavier parts, and all in all, an okay album. That's why I have it down at 13. The other ones are a lot better. At number 12 is A Dramatic Turn of Events from 2011. This is the first album with Mike Mangini. So Mike Portnoy left the band in 2010. And on this album, they kind of wanted to go back to that like sound of those like Images and Words or Metropolis albums, like those like 90s albums. So my favorite song is Lost Not Forgotten. A 10-minute song, has like a slow piano intro, but very epic feel. The intro is pretty cool, has a slight Middle Eastern feel, followed by some chunky like stop-start riffing. I like Bridges in the Sky, another 11-minute song, has a slow building intro. It kind of takes off with some heavy riffing, and the other song I like is called Breaking All Illusions. This one has kind of like an Iron Maiden-esque guitar riff, kind of going into some classic Dream Theater style sound, but with the guitars and the keyboards. But overall, it's a decent album, but it just kind of like lacks the consistency, But it is, all these albums are very long. Most of these albums are over an hour, but that's kind of what's lacking with this album. So at number 11, I have Falling Into Infinity from 1997. So it's a good album, but they kind of took a more commercial turn on the album. So they had a different keyboard player, Derek Sherinin, and so they have the song New Millennium, pretty cool guitar intro, has a pretty cool bass line, it's a slow builder. You Not Me, and it's very like a radio-friendly song, kind of has that very like alternative metal sound. Peruvian Skies, Really cool ballad. You know, it's very like atmospheric and like in the beginning, but then has some like heavy parts as it goes along. Hollow Years, another ballad. It has more that like acoustic strumming to it. And another good song I like is "Take Away My Pain." Another ballad, but has a pretty cool, nice melody, pretty cool vocals. You know, I like the chorus. You know, like, take away my pain, leave the cold outside. Please don't let it rain, don't stumble on my pride. You know, something like that. Let me move on. At number 10, I have Octavarium from 2005. Now, I'm surprised this one's so low. I like this one a lot. It's just the other ones are just a lot better. But it's a good album, you know. They were going for that classic Dream Theater sound. I watched a couple of other rankings, you know. They did say that this album reminded them of the band Muse. Some good songs. The main song is a 24-minute title track. It's really good. As the ballad, you know, I walk beside you, you know, I walk beside you, na, 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 something like that. And the song Panic Attack, really a great song, one of the heavier songs in the album. At number 9, Systematic Chaos from 2007. This is a really good album. It only has 8 songs. Most of them are long songs. The shortest one is like a little under 6 minutes. So it has a song In the Presence of Enemies, and that has like 2 parts, like the first part having 2 sections. And then part 2 has 4 sections, and they're kind of like bookend tracks, so like the first and last songs. Then there's a song Forsaken. It's a pretty catchy song. They're talking about vampires or something like that. You can watch that music video. My favorite is Ministry of Lost Souls. It's a long song, but as with most of the songs in the album, that tells like a fictional story. This one is about a person dying, saving a woman from drowning, but lots of really great songs, lots of heavy stuff on this album. So that's what I have, Systematic Chaos at number 9. So at number 8, I have A View from the Top of the World. This is the new one from 2021. Now this one has like a similar track listing as like Black Clouds and Silver Linings, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. And I did do a full review, but I'll talk about some of my favorites. Sleeping Giant, really great. The quiet intro, the futuristic guitar riff, the complex drum beat, the distorted bass, you know, lots of going on here. A lot of those like heavy palm muted riffs, and I really like that song. You know, it's 10 minutes, lots of different things going on. And I like Transcending Time, so that one's a little different. You know, at first it sounds like a little like classic hair metal, but then it kind of gets really proggy and almost sounds like that like 80s Rush, you know, at some point. You know, I think they really did a good job on Transcending Time, and plus the other singles, you know, there's like the Alien and like the other ones. And so, new album, you can watch my full review. I'll post it at the end of the video. And number 7, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. So this one came out in 2002. It's a long album. You know, most Dream Theater albums are long to begin with, but this one is really long. It's a little shorter than the Astonishing, but it's a little over 90 minutes. So the entire second side is basically a 42-minute song split into 8 parts. But the album opens with The Glass Prison. It's close to 14 minutes long. That's a really heavy progressive metal riffs, that classic like Dream Theater sound. You know, Misunderstood, kind of like the ballad, the slow acoustic intro, kind of gets heavy as it moves along. Kind of like an alternative rock song, you know. Then misunderstood, well. Kind of reminds me of like Smashing Pumpkins a little bit. And the other, on the second side is, you know, part 4, The Test That Stumped Them All, just progressive metal shred fest, so many different layers of sound and twists and turns and things like that. So this is a really good album. Number 6 is Distance Over Time from 2019. Really great comeback, because so many albums like after like Mike Portner left were kind of like okay albums. Those are the ones I kind of had more towards the bottom of my list. But this one is like a shorter album. It's more concise. It's only like an hour long, and I think one of the shortest albums since like Images and Words and like the first one. But really great. We have Untethered Angel. Really haunting atmosphere at first, but it has some really heavy intro riff. You know, some chunky palm muted riffs in the verse section. Then there's Paralyzed, another cool song. Has some like an alternative metal intro. It's a slow builder, but has some great riffs. And Pale Blue Dot, another really great song. It's a slow builder, very atmospheric and spacey, and That one has some really great chunky guitar riffs. So this is a really great album. It's very concise. It's not too overly long. The songs aren't overly long, and it's a really great album. So at number 5, I have Black Clouds and Silver Linings from 2009. This is the last album before Mike Portnoy left, and he left on a really good note. So the album has a similar structure to the new album, A View from the Top of the World. Only 6 songs in the album, but it's really good. So when they wrote the album, it's about like personal stories. So most of the lyrics were written by Mike Portnoy and John Petrucci, and the lyrical content kind of has a common theme of facing difficult situations. So there's a song called A Nightmare to Remember. So it's about a childhood car accident. I think it was one of them, either Mike or John, who experienced that. My favorite is The Count of Tuscany. It's a long song. It's about a real, event about, again, it was either Mike or John who met somebody in Tuscany, and, based on real events. And The Best of Times, really good song. It's one of the more like melodic ones. This is about Mike Portnoy's father who dies of cancer, but he wanted to kind of make it more like an upbeat, happy, and it's not really a sad song, but he wants to just like pay tribute to him. So at number 4 is Images and Words from 1992, and you're probably surprised. I am too. When I first thought about doing this ranking, I was expecting this to be number 1, but after listening to all the albums again, there were just like 3 that just came, I liked it a little better than this. I mean, this is a really great album. We got Pull Me Under, their breakout hit, the one everybody knows, Pull me under, pull me under, pull me under, I'm not afraid. All that I feel is honor and spite. All I can do is set it right. Ooh, I can't really sing that really well, but the album does get brought down by some of the ballads, like Another Day, but I have some great songs like Take the Time is great, Metropolis Part 1, that's like so great. They made a whole other album as a sequel. And Under Glass Moon, the best deep cut on the album, really epic sounding song, really killer heavy riff. And that's it. It's a really great album, but there were just 3 I liked better. So speaking of Metropolis, at number 3 is Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory from 1999. So it's a sequel to that song from Images and Words. So all the songs are like Scene 1, Scene 2, etc. And there are some skits and some interludes, and it is like a whole concept album. But I really like this album. The one I like, Scene 5, Through Her Eyes, reminds me a little of like Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. And a very great ballad. Almost has like a slight country feel as like the song progresses. And another great song is Scene 6, Home. One of the longest songs at 33 minutes, has some really like heavy riffs, really great vocal performance, really great keyboards in that one. And Scene 8, The Spirit Carries On. This one reminds me of like a different Pink Floyd album, like The Wall, kind of like a Roger Waters type of song. But this is just a great concept album all the way through. So that's my number 3. At number 2, this might be surprising, but I just love this album, Train of Thought from 2003. So they decided to make a heavier album. They did a really good job. It's a really great album, and they did this because like the fans really like their heavier songs like during the live shows. So they were going for a heavy sound. So the opening song, As I Am, really great riff, with that really great string bending, and that has those like chunky riffs, I really love that song. One of my favorite Dream Theater songs. Endless Sacrifice, really great song, a very memorable song, a little one of the more melodic ones. And Stream of Consciousness, it's an 11-minute instrumental, and you're probably thinking it's very long for an instrumental, but no, it's just so heavy, so many layers of songs, so many tempo changes, like you don't really get bored during the song. So one of the best instrumentals. Okay, and at number 1 is Awake from 1994. Follow up to Images and Words, and such a killer album, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Really great drum intro and great riffing. Caught in the Web, very heavy song. It has this like futuristic feel, mixing the heavy riffs and the keyboards. Innocence Faded, it's a ballad, kind of similar to like a hair metal style ballad, but it's really great. The Silent Man, one of those ballads, like I don't always like Dream Theater ballads, but this one is like really good, really great lyric writing. And The Mirror, one of the heaviest songs, really super crunchy guitar riffs, the keyboard melodies are really great. And I put this one at number one just because like all the songs all the way through, start to finish, are just awesome songs. And that's it. So let me know in the comments what's your ranking of the Dream Theater albums, or what's your top 5 or something like that. And that's it. Coming up tomorrow, another ranking video. It's going to be Death, so the original death metal band. One of those rankings that I think like almost every channel does this, but I'm due for it. So I'm going to have that for tomorrow. And thanks for watching. Please remember, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.